Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Noble, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my updated version of the Rose Dragon deck profile. So, this one was actually a challenge to update and revise, especially with the loss of Glow Up Bulb and Destrudo, just trying to find, a way to replace those cards or make this deck more viable again and make it more consistent. It was definitely a challenge. I'm still not 100% sold on some of the cards in here, but I think it's pretty good overall, especially with a lot of the reprints we just got with Secret Slayers and a lot of the plant support. But without further ado, guys, let's jump right on into it. To start off with, this hasn't changed. We're still going to be playing 3 copies of White Rose Dragon. Excuse me. White Rose Dragon is such a good card. Like, it is just definitely one of the best cards of the deck. It has 3 really good effects. The first effect is when this card is normal summon, you can special summon one Rose Dragon monster from your hand or graveyard. You can only use each of these effects of White Rose Dragon once per turn. If you control a Dragon Tuner or Plant Tuner, you can special summon this card from your hand. And if this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can send one level 4 or higher plant type monster from your deck to the graveyard. I mean, this card really has it all. A planet summoning, you can bring out another Rose Dragon from your hand or graveyard. If you control a Dragon Tuner or a Plant Tuner, you can special summon this card. And if you use this synchro material, you can Foolish Burial a level 4 or higher plant monster from your deck to the graveyard. That is really good. This is a great card for the deck, and I definitely think it's 3. I'm pretty sure it's mandatory at 3. For the next 3, we're going to be playing 3 Red Rose Dragon. This card is actually really good as well. Definitely doesn't really take a backseat to White Rose Dragon. But what it does is this is a tuner Rose Dragon, and if this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can special summon one Rose Dragon from your hand or deck, except Red Rose Dragon. Then, if it was sent first to the synchro summon of a Black Rose Dragon or a plant synchro monster, you can also add one Frozen Rose or Blue Moon of the Darkest Rose from your deck to your hand. But I don't run Blue Moon of the Darkest Rose in this particular build, but if you did, you would have just 2 targets with this card for Frozen Rose and Blue Moon of the Darkest Rose. I always search out Frozen Rose because I don't run Blue Moon, but if you had it, you can definitely do that as well. This is a really great card. For the other Rose Dragon, I only run 2 of Blue Rose Dragon. I don't really think you need to run this card at 3. If you want to, you can. I don't think it's beneficial to run it any more than 2. But what this one does is when this card is on the field, it's destroyed and sent to the graveyard. You can target one Black Rose Dragon or one plant monster in your graveyard and special summon that target. So again, it's really good to be able to get a body out from the graveyard upon this card's destruction. But I think it's just a good 2 of. So moving away from the Rose Dragon monsters, we play 3 Lone Fire Blossom. This card is fantastic. Definitely one of the MVPs of the deck. What this one does is once per turn, you can special summon you can tribute one face-up plant monster and then special summon one plant monster from your deck. So you can use this, and it's not even once per turn. So you can if you had all 3 and you were able, if you had all 3, you could use one and you want to get some graveyard set up. You could tribute a Lone Fire Blossom into another Lone Fire Blossom into another Lone Fire Blossom, and then tribute that one for anything you needed in your deck at the time. And then you would have 3 cards in your graveyard off of 1 card. This is a really great card, definitely 3 of. For the next 2, I love this card, Rose Lover. I think this one was Return of the Blink. I'm pretty sure this is, because this is a gold secret. It was Return of the Blink. This one got a reprint in Secret Slayers. I got some super rares, but I couldn't not play the gold secret. But what this one does is you can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon one plant type monster from your hand, and if you do, it's unaffected by your trap effects this turn. I don't really care about the trap immunity, but just being able to banish this from your graveyard and then being able to special summon a plant monster from your hand is really, really good. Now, if you want to play this at 1, or if you don't want to play this at all, that's totally fine. But I like the graveyard setup with this one, so I like running this at 2. For the next 2, honestly, if I could find my daggone 3rd copy, I would play 3 of this, but I can't. So we're playing 2 Dark Rose Fairy. If you have a 3rd one, I recommend you playing 3 of this. But this card's effect is if a tuner or tuners is special summoned except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is in your graveyard, you can send 1 card from your hand or field to the graveyard and place this card on top or bottom of your deck. You can only use each effect of Dark Rose Fairy once per turn. So this card has really great setup. Like I said, if you have 3, I definitely recommend playing it at 3. But like a lot of my cards, they elude me, so I'm only running 2. I'm running 2 Evil Swarm Mandragora. I think I'm saying that right. I really wish this card had a hollow reprint, but it doesn't. But what it does is this is really easy to get a body out in the field. So you can, if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can special summon this card from your hand. Just really simple. Just a really easy way to get out a plant body onto the field for your plays. I will play 1 copy of Spore. I love Spore. I really, really love this card. I really wish it wasn't a once per duel effect because I would totally run through Spore, but that would be pretty broken. So I understand. But what this card does is it's a tuner. It has a once per duel effect. That's the second effect. But if this card is in your graveyard, actually, the whole thing is once per duel. You can banish this one other plant type monster from your graveyard, special summon this card from your graveyard, and increase its level by the level of the banished monster. Each player can only activate the effect of Spore once per duel. I think it's interesting that it says each player, because, yeah, I just think that's really interesting. But Spore is a really, really great card, but it is limited by that once per duel effect. So we only run it at 1, because if you've already used it and then you draw another one, it's just really a dead draw. So for the next 2, and this is where I'm a little conflicted, I played 2 Gigaplant. Now, Gigaplant is a really good combo with Lone Fire Blossom, because Gigaplant's a Gemini, and if you normal summon it, it gains the effect that once per turn you special summon 1 insect or plant type monster from your hand or graveyard, and that's really powerful. I'm not 100% sold on the Lone Fire Gigaplant combo, but it is good. Don't get me wrong, it's a really good combo, and honestly, until I can find something that can beat it, I'm going to play it. So definitely give it a shot. I'm not saying it's bad, because it's not. It's really good. Just being able to use Lone Fire Blossom to get out Gigaplant. And then because it was special summon, you can use its normal summon, and then it gains the effect, and then you can special summon a plant monster from your hand or graveyard. You can special summon another Lone Fire Blossom, tribute that, and go into another plant monster from your deck. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you could do. And it's a level 6, so all you needed was a Spore or another level 1, and you could go right into your Rose Dragons, so that's really good as well. I am still playing I cannot say this card, Titanial Princess of, I ain't even trying to say it. I play one of this, and then I also play one Talaya. I play one Cherry Blossoms. I cannot pronounce these cards. But I like playing these, especially this one because of the negate. But just because, like I said in the other deck profile, I don't like relying 100% on the boss monsters for my extra deck. I want to have a little bit of options in my main deck as well, especially with Cherry Blossoms, because she gains 100 attack for each plant monster you control, and other plant monsters on the field cannot be destroyed by card effects. So her protection is really good. And then Titanial, I have no idea how to say it, guys. But you can tribute this. You can tribute 1 face-up plant-type monster you control to negate the activation of a card or effect that targets a card or cards on the field and destroy it. So she's really good just for negates. And especially with Pollinosis, I think is how you say it. Now, if you don't want to play her, you don't have to. If you want to play 2 Cherry Blossoms, go for it. I really like the protection of this card. Honestly, I might bump this to 2 and get rid of this one. But I think this is just a pretty good setup for the time being. And then the last 3 monsters of the main deck, we are playing, you guessed it, Ash. Just because, like always, we're trying to establish our board, and we don't want our opponent establishing theirs. So if we don't get to go first, we want to have as little resistance as possible. So Ash is really, really great for that. So moving on to the spells, do play a lot of spells. To start off with, we play 3 Frozen Rose. This card is really great. I love this card. This is beautiful artwork. I really hope it'll get a secret rare reprint at some point. I'm not hopeful for it, but it'd be cool. But what it does is you send 1 face-up monster you control to the graveyard and apply this effect depending on what type it had on the field. If it was a plant, during the end phase of this turn, draw 2 cards, then discard 1 card. If it was a non-plant, add 1 level 4 or lower plant monster from your deck to your hand. You can only activate 1 Frozen Rose per turn, and it's a quick play spell, and it's searchable with Red Rose Dragon, so it's really, really good. Next up, I play 3 Rose Bell of Revelation. Now, you don't have to play this at 3, you can play this at 2 if you want. I think it's a really good card, so I want to play it at 3. But what it does is you can add 1 plant monster with 2400 or more attack from your deck to your hand, so you could get Gigaplant off of this. You can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon 1 plant monster with 2400 or more attack from your hand. You can only use 1 Rose Bell of Revelation effect per turn, only once that turn. So you can't play this card, it goes to the graveyard, and then add Gigaplant, and then banish it from the graveyard and special summon Gigaplant that turn. You can't do that. but it does give you really good setup and options for the next turn as well. Like I said, if you want to bump this down to 2, I don't really think that would hurt you too much, but I want to see this card as much as I can, so I like it at 3. Next up, I play 3. I love this card. 3, Mark of the Rose. This card is really a game changer card. It has a crazy powerful effect. What this card does is you can activate this card by banishing 1 plant monster from your graveyard. Then target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, equip this card to it, take control of the equipped monster. Once per turn, during your end phase, negate this card's effect until your next standby phase. So you banish 1 monster from your graveyard, basically, because they're really all plants. And then you take control of one of your opponent's monsters, and there's no restrictions on what you can do with that monster. You can contribute it, you can link it away, use it material, anything you want. The trade-off is this card, basically you and your opponent change control of that monster during each of your turns because this card is negated during your end phase. But we're probably going to get rid of our opponent's monster, but just being able to take our opponent's monster is so great. It really makes them mad, and that alone is worth playing this card. I really like this card. Even if you don't play it permanently in a really competitive build, I really recommend you playing this at least casually with your friends because it is really funny. They hate this card. I love playing that card. For a few one-ofs, I play 1 Foolish Burial just for graveyard setup and 1 Black Garden. I personally don't think you need to move Black Garden to more than 1 because what it does is when a monster is normal or special summon, by the effect of Black Garden, have its attack and special summon 1 Rose token plant. It's a plant type, dark, level 2, 800 attack and defense to the controller's opponent's side of the field. So if I summon a plant monster, my opponent gets the token, and vice versa. You can destroy this card and all face-up plant monsters on the field and special summon 1 monster with attack equal to the attack of those monsters from your graveyard. So, I don't think you should play, personally, I wouldn't play more than 1 of this because it's searchable with Garden Rose Maiden. If you want to, it's not bad, it just might be a little bricky. Sometimes your opponent's probably going to try and get rid of this because this is kind of a dick move for this card. But because it has their attack and then gives the controller's opponent a token. But if you want to run this at 2, I don't think it would hurt. For the last 3 spells of the main deck, we run 3 Call by the Grave just to stop our opponent from trying to hand trap us because we do search quite a bit with this one, especially with Rose Bell Revelation. So we really want to play Call by the Grave just to kind of stop any shenanigans our opponent might think they can do to us. And for the last 2 cards of the main deck, I play 2 Pollinosis. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I just think this is a really good card to have in your deck, especially it combos well with Black Garden, because if you have your tokens on the field that are plant, you contribute to activate this card. So what it does is when a monster would be normal special summon or a spell trap card is activated, tribute 1 plant monster, negate the summon or activation. If you do, destroy that card. So it's an omnegate, but like I said, it combos really well with Black Garden. If you want to bump this down or bump this up even, honestly, I might even play that at 3 because it's really good and have your opponent thinking if they see a face down card and you've already played one of these because you can negate anything, but I'm playing it at 2 at the moment. So moving on into the extra deck, I'm playing 2 Crossroads Dragon. Now I'm running this at 2. You can run it at 1 if you want. It's beautiful artwork on this card, isn't it? That is so fantastic. But this is a really good card. It really helps the deck a lot. 2 monsters of different types, and that's also another thing that's really good with Mark of the Rose. You can take your opponent's monster, and if you have a plant and your opponent has like a dragon or something, you can just link it off right into Crossroads, and that's really good as well. So what it does is during the main phase, quick effect, you contribute this card and when a plant monster, a special summon 1 Rose Synchro Monster or plant Synchro Monster from your extra deck. This is treated as a Synchro Summon. If a monster or monsters you control is destroyed by battle or by card effect, is destroyed by a card effect, while this card is in your graveyard, except during the damage step, you can banish this card, special summon 1 Rose Dragon Monster from your graveyard. You can only use each effective Rose Dragon once per turn. So this card is just really, really great with setup, and it's in your plays. And like I said, it's really easy to get out, especially with Mark of the Rose. Being able to take your opponent's monster and then go into this one is really good as well. For a few of the more generic links, definitely play Needle Fiber. Honestly, I have 2 of these. I would play 2, but I let my buddy use 1, so I'm only running 1. Definitely play a Needle Fiber if you have access to that. If not, it's totally fine. You'll be okay without it. One Union carrier as well. Same thing with that. If you want access to that, that's fine. I think that's still at $13. I haven't checked it in about a week and a half, but it might have dropped some. I'm not 100% sure. And then one Aromatherapy Jasmine, just as like kind of a plan C, or really a plan like G or something. But that's it for the links. So going on into the synchros, we play 3 Black Rose Dragon, which, shocker, you didn't see that coming, did you? I don't have the Ghost Rare. I didn't really think it was worth spending like $60 for the Ghost Rare when the Ultra Rare is like $1. But this card is awesome. I'm pretty sure everyone knows this card's effect, at least the first effect. It's a board wipe. When this card is synchro summoned, you can destroy all cards on the field. That includes itself though, so be careful with that. You can't use this card's effect to like get rid of everything and then attack for game. That's not how it works. This card will die too. Once per turn, you can banish 1 plate type monster from your graveyard, then target 1 defense position monster your opponent controls. Change that target to face-up attack position. If you do, its attack comes 0 to the end of this turn. Honestly, I didn't even know this card had that secondary effect until like 3 months ago. Like, I just knew it was a board wipe. The second effect is good. That's a really good secondary effect. I didn't even know it had it. So you do have options for this card as well. For the next two Black Rose Moonlight Dragon, you don't really have to play this at 2. Honestly, I don't really think you'll go into this more than once. But this is a really good card. What it does is if this card is special summon or a level 5 or higher monster or monsters, special summon to your opponent's side of the field. Target 1 special summon monster your opponent controls. Return that target to the hand. You can only use the effect of Black Rose Moonlight Dragon once per turn. So it's really like a compulse. It's basically what this card does. And then for the last 2, Garden Rose Maiden. I love this card. That is a beautiful artwork, I tell you what. But this is our searcher for Black Garden. What it does is if this card is special summon, you can add 1 Black Garden from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So if your opponent's already gotten rid of it with Twin Twisters or something, it's totally fine. You can still search it out with Garden Rose Maiden Summon. You can banish this card from your graveyard, target 1 Rose Dragon monster or Dragon Synchro monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So you can banish this card from your graveyard. I don't know if I said that part. But this is really good. So when it goes to opponent summoning, you can search out a card. And when it goes to graveyard, you can banish it and special summon something else out to the field as well. That's it for the deck, guys. Like, I really hope you liked it. It's still pretty experimental. I'm still really finding this. Like I said, there's a lot of different builds you can really go with this one, especially with the loss of Glow Bulb and Estrudo. It's definitely a challenge, but this is, I've been playing around with this one for a little bit, and it's pretty fun. I've had a lot of success with it so far, casually, because, there's no events going on right now for sure. But definitely give it a shot. I'd love to hear what you guys think. If there's different combos, different plays, different cards. What did you guys think about Glow Up Gold getting hit like that? But if you haven't had a chance to, don't forget to subscribe. I'll be coming up with more profiles. I'm doing an Emancipator profile next week and an Eldritch one as well. But I hope everyone has a great night, and I will see you in the next video.